Hi, so today it's looking at why the ketogenic diet doesn't work for women, or so some say. So keep watching, we'll examine this and find out a bit more. The ketogenic diet has been around for some time now. It came to prominence in the 90s, it was out before then, but it's become even more popular over recent years. And there's a way people are saying that it isn't suitable for women, which I believe to be absolute nonsense, and I'm going to demonstrate why this is the case in this video by some correct research that backs up why it does work for women, albeit a different way than it does with men. And we'll look at the key differences. Of course, we need to look at what the ketogenic diet is and what it's all about, which is, as you know, a low-carb, medium protein, high-fat diet. And the whole purpose is for it to turn and create energy from the fat within our bodies instead of the carbohydrate-rich diets that most of us have been used to for many years, or for life, to be quite fair. So keep watching and have a look. At the end, I'm going to give a really quick, simple tip that will make the keto diet work for everybody so much easier than it presently does. So keep watching for that. Now back to why it doesn't work for women, and we need to really address a lot of the misinformation that's out there, because it is misinformation. It's usually from blogs that are have ulterior motives and promoting other diets, other forms of diets, and trying to sell products and things like this. There's a lot of nonsense said about it. In my research, I want you to have a look at the research, because I always say, don't believe anything that I say, don't believe anything that's said on YouTube unless there is substantiated research that's been used for this, and not just limited sections of research, because I've noticed a few starting to pick out the bits that suit their motives. So look at the research. I think I've used about 9 or 10 different researches for this particular video. Now, we know women are different to men. We know that not all men are from Mars and all that type of stuff, but it's a different type of difference, if you like. Women are more complex than men, we know this, and especially when it comes to our endocrine system, our body system for the glands and organs that make hormones and release them directly into the blood so they can travel to tissues and organs all over the body. Hormones released by the endocrine system control many important functions within our body, including growth and development, the metabolic rate that we have, and reproduction are all controlled by this. So it's really important, and it works differently in men as it does in women. We move on, because now what I want to look at is really an extract from the National Library of Medicine, and look at really some of the differences and why it applies to women in particular. Well, it does apply to women, the whole point of the video is that. But conditions such as thyroid disease, diabetes mellitus, osteoporosis, GH, IGF, eye-axis diseases, obesity, sarcopenia clearly present gender differences. Energy metabolism is also gender specific, being greatly influenced by estrogen, both at rest and during exercise. These hormones have a considerable effect on the pathogenesis of autoimmune endocrine diseases, as suggested by their different prevalence, often significantly higher in women than in men. Males produce predominantly testosterone from the testes in a relatively constant daily amount. Obviously it decreases over years, but this is how it works for us. Now, females produce estrogens and progesterones from the ovaries in a cyclical pattern, while a small amount of testosterone is produced by the ovaries and the adrenal glands. The levels of female sexual steroids follow a specific and oscillating profile due to complex interaction between the pituitary gland and the ovary. So what does this all mean? Well, this is where it gets interesting in relation to women's bodies and fat accumulation and how to get rid of the fat accumulation, which is the important thing. Females generally have a higher percentage of fat mass and are more likely to deposit fat subcutaneously on their lower extremities, while men are more likely to deposit visceral fat in the abdominal region. Visceral fat is the more dangerous fat, although we still need some of this. This is the bit that's really deep inside around the organs, and the subcutaneous fat is the unsightly one that's just beneath the skin that we get, and you can see and you can pinch when you pinch your belly and bum and where have you. Okay. Unfortunately, subcutaneous fat is harder to lose. Subcutaneous fat is more visible, but it takes more effort to lose because of the function it serves in your body. If you have too much subcutaneous fat, this can increase the amount of WAT in your body. WAT, that is WAT, which is the white adipose tissue. Now, white adipose tissue is what most people think of when they hear fat. WAT cells store energy from the food you eat. If you consume excess calories, the cells get larger, and this is what causes weight gain. Now, the other type is the brown adipose tissue, or BAT. Brown adipose tissue burns energy instead of storing it. If you get cold, BAT cells activate and begin burning calories to warm you up. It helps you maintain a healthy temperature. Most BAT is found around major organs and blood vessels. Now, common fatty areas such as the abdomen and thighs usually contain a combination of WAT and BAT. Both of these fats are essential for health, but too much or too little can throw your hormones and body functions out of balance. Now, following menopause-induced estrogen loss, a shift towards visceral adiposity occurs, which is sensitive to estrogen therapy. So, what does all this mean, and what are they actually saying? Well, altering levels of sex hormones like estrogen and progesterone, menopause can decrease insulin sensitivity, which can impair your bodies to use insulin effectively. Insulin, of course, is the hormone that's responsible for transporting sugar from your bloodstream into your cells where it can be used for fuel. Now, research suggests that the ketogenic diet may improve insulin sensitivity to promote better blood sugar control. I believe after many years, over 20, of studying and practicing and advising clients on ketogenic diet in conjunction with my hypnotherapy, then I believe this to be the case. It really is effective at fat loss, weight loss. We should call it fat, really, because it's fat that we want to be losing, the unsightly fat, but all obviously from a health point of view, the fat that we don't see. The reasons quoted by those with ulterior motives in relation to the ketogenic diet say it is bad for women, especially because it's tough on the metabolism and difficult to follow. It can lead to weight gain, which is especially tough for women who are already struggling with weight gain, especially around the midsection, tummy area, after and during the menopause. Of course, this is not the case. Yes, we know there are differences between men and women, as I've said. But is it a reason to not do a low-carb diet like the keto and do the SAD diet, which of course is the high-carb, processed foods, high sugars and all the other crap in there, also known as the standard American diet, and to be fair, for any other country is the same. We eat absolutely terrible. Now, the biggest problems for those that quit doing the keto diet, and the biggest group of people that do quit are women, it is said it's the complexity of it. This is from a study, quite an extensive study and research carried out in Canada. Okay, we know it's Canada, but you know they've got some other problems as well, like being part French. So, of course, I'm only joking. But no, it was a very good study, and it did show that the main reasons that people do quit is the complexity and the cost, which I find quite strange, to be quite fair. And I think it just shows a misunderstanding of the ketogenic diet in general, if these are the main reasons that people quit, because it is not a complex diet to follow. And if anything, it's a very simple one. There's a list of foods that you eat, the others you don't. It's simple as that. But I think the biggest problem tends to be is with a lot of these YouTube videos, and I'll apologise for this one because I've used a lot of scientific stuff within today, but I think it was needed to get across the point and explain. But I think that there's too many that go into detail as though you need to be some type of scientist to understand and follow a keto diet. You do not. It's a simple way to eat. It really is. And you don't need to overcomplicate it by looking at all these measurements and scales and things like this. Recipes with 1,000,001 different ingredients you do not need. You need to keep it simple, straightforward. And to say was my other tip, which I would say is to simplify everything on a keto diet. Now, it's really looking at the type of food you eat. Of course, we all know the low carbs and the zero carb foods. I've put a list. I've got a video on that, which I'll put a link to there. If you follow and include these in all your food plans, then there really isn't an issue. It's like breakfast. You know, I've seen some of these recipes for breakfast which are like mind-blowing. You'd spend half your day preparing your breakfast instead of a couple of eggs, a couple of pieces of bacon, some mushrooms and half a tomato grilled or all bunged in the pan and cooked off. It's not complicated. You don't need to measure the grams, the ounces and everything in 2 pieces of bacon, 2 eggs and half a tomato. You don't need to measure it. A knob of butter. What do you need to measure about that? So keep things simple. I am actually going to do a video, which I think will be quite useful, of what I would eat in a day and what I always recommend my clients, because as I say, the success with the keto diet in conjunction with the hypnotherapy that I do has been unbelievable. So, you know, it's a shame that people do fail on the keto diet, and especially women, and there should be no reason for this, because it can benefit you so much more than just losing fat. It's the health benefits. So what I would say is, if you want to find out more, have a look at some of my other videos. Look in the description below, because I always include something of use, a freebie of use to help you with the keto diet or some other form of health related thing, because this is what I do. I do alternative therapy and natural medicines. So if you've enjoyed the video today, that's great. Subscribe, do the like thing and the bell for notification. If you haven't liked the video today, why are you still watching? But I'm glad you are, and I will give you permission to actually subscribe, like, do the bell, and come back and watch another video which you might actually enjoy. But in the meantime, I wish you all good health. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. So from me, David H, bye bye for now.